along with multifarious struggles and triumphs, there's much more to thrive and much more to show. So let's rejoice this majestic journey and let's raise a toast to make it even better. A very warm good morning to all of you present here. My name is Amreen Kadir and I'm the academic in charge, senior secondary level for Doon School, Srinagar. It instills in me a great sense of pleasure to welcome the Honorable Principal, Doon School, Srinagar, Mr. Mahfouz Aslam, worthy Vice Principal, Doon School, Srinagar, Mrs. Nashin Bashir, esteemed judges on the panel, Mr. Gohar Ghilani and Dr. Lily Bond, and all the treasured invitees, revered teachers, and of course our startling participants who have joined us today from different schools across the valley. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are having brilliant 16s representing 6 well-reputed schools of the valley, which are GD Goenka, Green Valley School, Kashmir Harvard, Minto Circle, Presentation Convent, and Doon School, Srinagar, who will compete in this inter-school debate competition 2021 organized by Doon School, Srinagar. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now introduce the panel of jury. It's indeed a privilege for me to introduce our first judge, who is none other than the very popular, the very well-eminent Dr. Lily Bond. Huge round of applause for ma'am. Dr. Lily Bond is the Professor of English Literature, who has served the University of Kashmir as Dean, School of Arts, Languages and Literature, and Head, Department of English. Earlier, she was Associate Professor at Faculty of Humanities, American University of Asia, Sharjah, United Arab Emirates. Professor Bond has been teaching for the last 35 years and has been rated as an excellent teacher by students in the various surveys conducted by the University of Kashmir from time to time. She has been teaching courses like British poetry, 16th to 18th century, Romantic and Victorian poetry, new literatures in English, South Asian diasporic literature, and literary theory. Professor Bond is the author of several books, mostly published by Cambridge University Press. Her articles have appeared in national and international journals. She has also made numerous presentations at various workshops, orientation, and refresher courses for college and university teachers, both within and outside the country. She has organized a number of national and international seminars and workshops. We are honored to have you with us, ma'am. Worthy audience, next we have with us the very well-renowned Mr. Gohar Ghilani. Sir, you hardly need any introduction. You have made all of us proud with your distinguished work in numerous capacities. Mr. Gohar Ghilani is an award-winning broadcast, print journalist, and author. His works explore Kashmir politics, human rights, gender, literature, and sports. He is the author of Kashmir Rage and Reason, published in 2019. The book has received rave reviews by Business Standard, Asian Age, The Hindu, and it has been translated into Telugu language as well. Mr. Ghilani has a master's degree in journalism and mass communication and has studied German language in Bonn, Germany. As a polyglot, he's well versed with English, Hindi, Urdu, Kashmiri, German, and several other languages. The author is South Asian Journalism Program Scholar, Shivering Fellow 2015, and Munich Young Leader 2014. Previously, the The journalist has served Germany's public broadcaster, Deutsche Welle, as editor in Bonn. His work has been extensively published in media outlets such as the BBC, Deutsche Welle, London's Race and Class Journal, the Economic and Political Weekly, the Telegraph, United Kingdoms and India, the Outlook, India Today, Dawn, Scrollin, the Quint, the Federal, Catch News, the Citizen, and many other regional and international publications. Additionally, as an expert and analyst and commentator, the author has been presenting his analysis on international platforms like the BBC, Al Jazeera, Deutsche Welle, NDTV 24/7, India Today, and News 18. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker is Mariba from Presentation Convent High Secondary School, and she will be speaking for the motion. Please put your hands together for her.
The coming era of artificial intelligence will not be the era of war, but the era of deep compassion, non-violence and love. Who knew when life started that we shall grow massively enough to make artificial humans with intensively exceeding intelligence? Never did we wonder that robots will take over humans' chores. We would have a chemically built sun to shine and drones to look after things. A very cheerful and pleasant morning to esteemed jury members, respected judges, and my dear fellow participants. I'm Mariba and I'll be speaking for the motion today. I'm pretty sure all the members present here are having smartphones. And if you're having your smartphones, you're already using AI. Because AI is present in almost each and every app you're using. There is no doubt that all of us encounter AI in some way or the other, right away from the moment we check up our smartphones to watching up any movie on the OTT platforms like Netflix or Amazon Prime. Have you guys ever asked yourselves how Netflix, YouTube or Instagram recommend you the post that you previously searched for? Let me tell you people that it's the AI that has made its way into our daily lives. And I think we people are definitely lucky enough to be living in a time where AI came up with an effective method of virtual learning. No matter at what point of earth we are, we just need a good internet connection, a smartphone or a laptop, and boom, we are connected to our classes. The 24/7 availability of AI for a new creator like me is such a blessing. No matter at what point of time you have a query, Google, Vedanta, Byju's are just a click away. The phrase human error was made because we humans make mistakes. And we know computers do not make any mistakes, so the chances of reaching accuracy with a greater level of precision is a possibility with the help of AI. We humans need breaks, times out, so that we can balance our daily lives. Guess what? AI can work endlessly without any breaks. We reach to distant places using the Google Maps. And many of us, like me, have actually reached this venue using the GPS that is powered by AI. The list highlighting the benefits of AI goes on, and it's becoming evident that AI is poised to become one of the most important factors shaping our world. The potential of AI to do good does not lie exclusively or even primarily within its technologies. It mainly lies within its uses. If we trust how our societies are currently being run, then we have no reason to distrust AI. If we suspend presentism and accept those ancient stories warning us not to play God with those technologies, then we will likely free ourselves from unnecessary anxieties about their use. Before leaving, let me remind you people that AI is just a tool and not a threat. Thank you so much.
Greetings everybody present here. All of us here knows what AI is. It's a branch of computer science that deals with large sets of information and has the ability to deal with it intelligently. Now what the frightening thing is that it has its own reasoning and logic. Unlike other technologies that we had, this is something very different. It's like a complete being in itself. Now, what the risks of AI, if I start talking about the risks of AI, the overview of it will be the automation of jobs. You have seen that a lot of jobs have been automated because of AI. You have seen that a lot of jobs have been automated because of AI, and because of that, skilled labor or people who were only skilled in a certain skill set have started to lose their jobs because of this. If we start using AI completely in machines and factories, a lot of people will lose their jobs. This will profoundly impact people with poor education and also with countries with lesser job opportunities to begin with. This will increase the gap between the rich and poor because the factories and the manufacturers wouldn't have a lot of cost in manufacturing goods, and that's why poor people won't be able to buy these products, and it would create a huge gap between the rich and the poor. Another very big risk about AI is the risk that it holds against privacy. You know, China has started to create a credit system. The credit system will grade you on the basis of how you behave and how you act personally. Now this can be a good thing, but it also shows us how potentially it can see our behavior and can invade our privacy. Imagine something just monitoring you all over and seeing how you behave and then grading you on top of that. This is obviously creating a big problem in your privacy. And lastly, the most devastating thing is the automation of weapons. We have seen countries like Russia, America, and China. They are using weaponry that is completely used by AI. Now, AI isn't something that has feelings. It doesn't have nationalism. It doesn't have any other feeling which can make it protective towards its nation or something. It's obviously a machine. A machine can be socially hacked or maneuvered by any other person. So that's why it is a very risky thing. And another thing is that what if the AI goes rogue? What if it can't differentiate between what it has to kill and what it doesn't have to kill? It's a machine. Algorithms may go wrong. And that's why I'd like to say that we are not ready for artificial intelligence yet.
Greetings to one and all present here. Myself Raja Manan Yahya, a student of GD Goenka Public School, Srinagar, and today I have got an opportunity to speak in front of you about the topic artificial intelligence, and I'll be speaking against the topic. What does artificial intelligence basically means? It simply means stimulation of human intelligence into machines, programming the machines in a way that they mimic the human actions. Artificial intelligence, its common examples that we have are driverless cars, smart personal assistants, and induction of robotics in healthcare. AI for sure has been hailed as revolutionary for changing the world. While looking at something, we should not always look at the brighter side. There is a darker side to everything. Similarly, AI might be good, but it definitely has some cons, and those cons cannot be ignored. Some of the serious threats posed or the concern posed by AI are: number one is job automation. AI, if linked to industries, will lead to job automation, which will unemploy a number of people. Industries that are more prone to job automation are industries where workers perform repetitive or predictable tasks. Like we have examples like earlier there were artisans who used to weave us like that. Now we have machine maids, we have machines in that. The second threat posed by AI is weapon automation. Weapon automation, it's true that weapons are harmful, but the weapons can be more dangerous if AI and weapons are linked together. What if AI-guided weapons their data is manipulated? The one that is using them, it is manipulated in such a way that the weapons destroy the ones who are launching it. AI-guided weapons are absolutely useful for selective killings, like we have examples of drone attacks. Lack of personal connections, another threat by AI. While using machines, we get no time to socialize or very less time to socialize. With the advancement in AI, we'll be having very less time to socialize or no time at all to socialize. This will lead to a number of mental health cases. Like in these times, we have seen the system when all the system changed due to the COVID situation. We have seen a number of riding suicide cases in our own valley. This is also due to the less socialization. Secondly, the bias algorithm. AI algorithms are made by humans. They can have bias in many ways. And the biases can have very unintended consequences. At last, I'd like to say AI might be good, but we are not prepared for it. Also, AI does not need to be evil to destroy humanity. It's simple. If AI has a task and the humanity comes in way, it will destroy the humanity, no hard feelings. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Yahya.
Honorable juries, respected teachers and my worthy opponents, a very warm good morning to all of you. I'm of myself grade 11 and today I'll be speaking regarding the importance, or I can say the good effects of artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence Artificial intelligence is the intelligence which is generated or which is shown by machines, right? As my friend clearly said, that it is not a danger, right? It can be used in a good way. The very first thing that comes to our mind while talking about artificial intelligence is the job automation. Everybody has said about that. And yeah, it's true. According to PwC firm, which is an advisory firm, about 7 million jobs will be lost, and it will be replaced alone by artificial intelligence. However, there will be the generation of 7.2 million jobs. So there will be a net gain of 200,000 jobs. Wow. The thing is that people fear artificial intelligence. They fear innovation. Just like the people who fear that they will be replaced by automobile vehicles back then. I believe that artificial intelligence will definitely be of a good use if we know how to use it. I would like to quote an example of mining workers. We all know that it is a very dangerous working situation or site, right? I mean, deadly dangerous. There are the chances of explosions, the hazardous gases, the toxic substances. But if we use artificial intelligence or machine that can estimate the atmosphere and that can predict dangers or warnings, maybe thousands of lives will be saved, and that matters. Dear fellows, at last, I would like to conclude by saying that artificial intelligence will have immense uses for us, right? It has even proved to be very useful for us. We are able to predict future disasters, and we are able to prepare ourselves beforehand. And of course, the usage it has in health sector, right? A person suffering from cancer or any other deadly disease, God prevent us from this. But he would have never known what kind of disease he's suffering from if it was not artificial intelligence. So I believe that artificial intelligence will prove to be a very good thing for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maisa.
Artificial intelligence to monitor patients' mental health, implying AI in business to evolve from minimum to minimum. No, I am not your regular BBC correspondent, though I would love to be one. Revered Principal of the whole school, distinguished panel of judges and teachers, my dear fellow debaters, this is Gohar Ghilani of Green Valley Educational Institute, speaking for the motion, wishing you a very electrifying morning. Electrifying because today we are talking about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is no longer just a fictional topic tossed around by sci-fi fanatics. The scope of innovation and development in artificial intelligence is endless. Artificial intelligence is indeed the need of the hour, as it can be used in security and surveillance, manufacturing production, life science and health, and finance. Gone are the days when my grandpa used to think wheel is the greatest invention of all time. Tesla, an automated car company, has literally made it possible to turn that wheel without even touching it. Let me tell you, 1.35 million people die each year as a result of negligent driving. Imagine, just imagine saving 1.35 million people per year. Whoa, I already feel like a heroic Terminator. Not to forget our ladies, Sophia, Alexa. Alexa is helping especially abled people to turn on AC, streaming podcasts, setting alarms, making to-do lists, reciting news and whatnot. And ironically, humans still feel AI pose threat to mankind. So let me ask you, which AI led to Hiroshima and Nagasaki? What led to Chernobyl nuclear power plant explosion in Ukraine? In fact, power robots could be used in places where human intervention could be fit. Most of the people speaking against the motion will say, soon AI is going to take over human mind. Wow! To me, it's a perfect Hollywood movie plot, isn't it? Sorry, but no sorry. To say AI will start doing what it wants is like saying calculator will do its own calculations. And I know all my opponents are rolling their eyeballs at it, but let me tell you the bitter truth. We have very conveniently transformed our lives in tandem with AI. How many of us use Google Maps? Siri? Alexa? I'm sure quite a lot in that too on daily basis. Then why this hue and cry? Now, the only potential criticism that persists against AI is Sophia's baldness, which to me is again a positive. At least robots are breaking stereotypical beauty norms. Thank you very much.
Let's revisit history, shall we? The invention of dynamite changed the course of history, and yet Alfred Nobel, the inventor, was obliged by his sense of morality to create an icon of peace, known to us as the Nobel Peace Prize, hoping and praying that it will neutralize the harm caused by his invention. And here we stand, roughly after 200 years, dealing with something much worse, an invention that has the potential to exterminate the human race. Esteemed jury members, respected guests, and my fellow participants, wishing you all a very good morning. I'm Said Madiba, and I'll be speaking against the motion. For AI, as it is being used currently, data equals destiny, and nearly everything we do through our smartphones, our computers, and even through home assistants like Alexa, well, yes, you guessed it right, it generates data, which is processed by AI to draw a picture of our lives, what interests we have, who our friends are, and even where we want to go on a holiday. It helps other people to make decisions and predictions about you. Let's say about your political views, or for that matter, your sexual orientation. Facial recognition technologies can scan crowds, creating a record of your every movement. To say that we are all being stalked would be the understatement of the century. What is alarming though is that there are no laws regulating AI. India doesn't even have data protection laws. Instead of coming up with regulatory laws, authoritarian regimes exploit the power of AI, implementing laws that curb the right to freedom of expression as well as the right to privacy of their citizens. Recent example being the new IT laws announced by the Indian government on 25th February 2021. The point here lies in the fact that totalitarian regimes use AI to curb dissent and to exercise power, while as private sector deploys AI in pursuit of profit above all else. China and other global powers are already weaponizing AI as they compete for military and economic power. Russia has begun building its robot army. South Korea has long-range AI machine guns, while as USA has funded its own AI weapon system through its defense program known as DARPA. When AI-powered weaponry like unmanned drones and GPS-guided missiles are used to bomb people, innocent people in Afghanistan, Yemen, and Gaza into oblivion. Bear in mind, my friends, AI has allowed states to conduct warfare at an extremely low political cost. The question that I want to leave you all with is, can we even pull the brakes when we want to? Thank you very much.
As we were on our way to the school, we didn't know the way. And we used the Google Maps. And that's GPS AI. So at least don't expect me to say that AI is a bane. I won't be that hypocrite. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Abhina Arshad and I strongly believe that AI is a boon. Like how not? In times like these, where from the past 2 years we have continuously seen the doctors dying just because they are in contact with the COVID patients, Had there been an AI to prevent the contact, we would have saved the millions of lives of doctors. And also not in the medical field. Let me remind you that there is a loss of 1.3 trillion rupees in the hospitality industry. And we could have avoided it to a greater extent had there been a tech enhancing cleaning in the hotels, had there been a better development in the AI to monitor who is coming and who is going, who is in contact with whom. So why not? When we could have saved 1.3 trillion rupees and many lives, so how we still are saying that AI is a bane? And it doesn't stop here, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to remind you that all of us using phones day in and day out and here coming at AI is a bane, is double standards. You using the fingerprint and the face recognition features, using the Google Maps, and heard of Mars orbit mission or that movie Mission Mangal, Indian movie, right? So in that, do you know how they launched a satellite? Yeah, it was due to human intelligence and human brain, but to make the exact calculation, it is because of the AI. And then you deny the fact saying AI is a bane. And not only here, ladies and gentlemen, talk about the ocean floors. There is a threat of human lives to them. We can stop all that threat to human lives. We can save lives and still develop just because of AI. And yeah, I would like to quote my opponents. Quite of them mentioned about the legislations related to the AI. We don't have legislations. You know, back when Industrial Revolution started, there were not much laws related to the workers. Did that mean we would close the industries? But that would be the last thing we would be telling. Or still, there are MNCs under whom there is human rights violation. Chevron is dumping, Chevron recently dumped 18.5 million gallons of waste in the water, which thereby lead to the skin cancer. But then we are not, because there is no such legislation for MNCs. But then we are not by banning MNCs just because of a one con. And same goes for the AI. We need to develop, we will make better legislation because that's what we are, as humans are supposed to do. Adapt to the change, not condemn the change. Ladies and gentlemen, I would say it again, adapt the change, not condemn the change. We want to progress, not stay here. Once again, one of my opponents mentioned about AI, they blamed it for the killings, for the reprocessing of the thoughts, and then it would lead to the quiet killings and destruction. Well, there's a saying, it says, guns don't kill people, people do. We are making the AI, we are responsible, AI doesn't kill people. Another thing I would like to end it by saying that in times like these, where we have Elon Musk running a company Tesla, which is almost automated, or there is little to no intervention of humans in its company, and that is cutting the cost by billions of rupees. And we here talking about AI is a bane, that would just mean we are primitive and nothing else. Thank you.
Artificial intelligence. Well, half of my job is done. Because the term is quite self-explanatory. Artificial, fabricated, unnatural, synthetic, contrived, fake. Intelligence, but no intelligence. Honorable dignitaries and dear fellow debaters, this is Annabel Gupta and I'm speaking against the motion. Claude Shannon, the father of information theory and a renowned mathematician, rightly said, and I quote, "I visualize a time when we will be to robots what dogs are to humans." But remember, barking dogs seldom bite. The emergence of artificial intelligence requires an assessment of its effects on sustainable development, as it may lead to increased inequalities within and among the countries, thereby hindering the achievement of 2030 agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is much more than robots serving you chicken wings at lavish restaurants with their spooky metallic hands. AI lacks creativity, as its creative ability is limited to the creative ability of the person who commands them. Facebook was forced to shut down a pair of its chatbots in the social network's artificial intelligence division after discovering that it had created a secret language of its own which would redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate. Humans, who are limited to the slow biological evolution, couldn't compete it. An interview with Robert Phillip by correspondent Chad Cohen said, and I quote, "Even if I evolve into a Terminator, I would keep people warm and safe in People's Zoo." People's Zoo. This literally runs shivers through my spine. From creating unemployment to disregarding human emotions, ladies and gentlemen, I fear that AI could be the new pandemic. One of the participants mentioned about the non-violence or the AI, talking about the fingerprints and the face recognition system, but AI is not limited. Talking about the elephant in the room, the advent of so-called killer robots and usage of AI in military appliances could lead to the political turmoil, or in the worst case would wage war. This was warned by Elon Musk last year about the World War III. That is why 115 robotics companies and 26 nations have petitioned to UN to ban killer robots. I am not saying that the sky is falling. All I am saying is that with great power comes great responsibility. Or I quote here Stephen Hawking, who says that AI could mean the end of human race. Thank you for hearing me.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Simran Sikandar again, and the topic given today to me is should drug addicts be punished or not? So this is a very sensitive topic, first of all, because I'm a medical student and I have studied about drugs and its effects. I know what happens to people who take drugs. I know why they take drugs. I know the psychology, I know the consequences, and after judging everything that I know, after seeing people, after seeing drug addicts around me, after seeing their mental state, I really believe they should not be punished. People, they are patients, they are not criminals. I repeat, they are patients, they are not criminals. So today, definitely the debate is not about the people who were forced to take drugs, like who accidentally got into drug addiction. It's not about them, because they definitely shouldn't be punished according to our own moral intelligence. The debate is about those people who get into it. Now, before actually throwing my opinions on you again, let's first discuss why do we punish people at the first place, right? Why do we send people to jail? Why do we punish people? It's because we want them to realize what they have done to themselves and what they have done to other people, the loss they have caused to other people. Now, in the case of drug addicts, they already know they are doing wrong. These people know the effects of the drugs they're taking. Yes, it's a fact, they know they're doing wrong. Then what causes them to take the drugs? It's the fact that they believe that the wrong that they are doing to themselves, to their body, is very, very less than the wrong that the people do to them. They believe that people are cruel. This world is cruel. They just want to escape out of it. And agents like drug dealers, etc., they actually force them to take. They lure them towards it. Your parents aren't understanding you, take morphine, it will help you calm down. Your school doesn't understand you, take heroin, it will help calm down your nerves. You sleep all day, you won't care what's happening in the world. Now think from a teenager's mind, Julie. You were a teenager once, right? You know. We all want to escape from a world where marks don't matter, right? We all want to do that. Now imagine if somebody tells you that if you take this chemical, it will induce such changes in your body that you will tend to forget everything. Marks, what are marks? I don't care. What are marks? I don't really care. What are parents? What will they do to me? So what if I get homeless? Doesn't matter. I will spend all the money I have and I will get drugs, and then I will live happily in the fantasy that the drugs create for me. Now to think about it, punishment is not what we think about it like. Punishment for drug addicts is isolating them, is making them feel that they are wrong, making them believe that they are criminals. That is punishment. And if help means isolating them, I will choose to isolate them. We have to understand the difference between punishment and help. So when we say that drug addicts should not be punished and they should be helped, we need to understand that we are not going to walk with them hand in hand and say that, come on, if you murder, I am with you, I'm your friend. That is not called help, everybody. That's not help. If help means isolating everyone, I'm repeating it again, yes. If help means isolating the person, if help means not talking to him, making him realize he's wrong, making him realize that worldly hardship should not even cause him to escape the reality. If we are successful in making him realize this point, no matter what major we take, it's help. I'd like to conclude.
Thank you so much, Simran.
More smarter machines become, more their goals could shift. Gary Marcus says, and I quote, "Greetings everyone, this is Sayana Varsi, and today I'll be putting forward my opinions on the fact that AI does bring more harm than good to the humankind. Now, in this debate, we are just debating about the boons and the banes, but little bit did we discuss about its actual harmful effects, which could leave us in shatters, which could leave the humanity in shatters. Now, we have to understand that AI is not just a backbone in the, it's not just a player in the economy of any country or nation, but it could be a hegemon to which we would be subservient. Number first, and it has been already discussed so many times, about the employment. The unemployment concern has been not only being discussed in this particular debate, but it has been discussed in various debates so far. And when we talk about the unemployment, we have to understand that yes, first of all, why would anyone like to make a human inclusive in a particular task if a machine can do it 10 times efficiently and productively? But at the same time, what will happen to the humans then, right? And the second concern we have is the concern of the deep fakes. Your audio clips, your visual clips, anything and everything can be manipulated because of the AI. And criminals, dark webs, everything can be included in this. Third concern, which is the most ironic concern as well. On one hand, we say that AI can be used to just degrade the global warming. That means it can reduce the global warming. But on the other hand, we are completely forgetting the fact that the products used to form the iron batteries, that is nickel, cobalt, zinc, these materials, they shatter the environment. And the energy, has anybody thought about the energy used in making the AI? It's 2,500 pounds in just training an AI. So how does not it affect our environment as well? And talking about the AI bias and wide socio-economic inequality, we have thousands of cases in which AI has actually turned out bias. Okay, and we cannot ignore those facts too. There are thousands of research done already who the research and the scientists say that AI is being biased, and the scientists are trying to filter that biasness out of the AI. So taking all these things into consideration, we can't put forward our opinion that AI does bring more harm than good to a human civilization. And yes, with that I'd like to conclude. Thank you.
Ali Mustafa, Minto Circle School.
So, good evening everybody. Firstly, I'm extremely honored and really happy that I've been given a chance by the judges to speak once again. So, secondly, I'd say drug addiction is a sincere topic, and I personally believe that people who are drug addicts, either if they are they themselves pursue drugs or they are being forced by somebody to take drugs, they have the right to live life. Life is a one-time opportunity, and you have the rights over your life if you make a mistake. It's mentioned in our holy book Quran that human is like, he's we refer to him as a portrait of making mistakes. It's the genuine character of a human to make mistakes. But on the basis of making one mistake, we can't determine his entire life, like we can't destroy his entire life. If a person pursues drugs due to various reasons which are already discussed by our respective speakers, some said depression, some said lack of parental support and things like that. Either way, they should be given proper counseling. There should be a set of people who will counsel them, because I believe it's not the drugs who make a person drug addict. It's their urge to leave reality, their urge not to accept reality, which forces them towards taking drugs. I must say that while dealing with a drug addict, we must consider him as a child, as a kid who wants a candy bar. We can't force, if you take a child to a store and he doesn't he stops or says, I want this specific thing, say it a candy bar. You can't, if you start saying that no, I won't buy you this specific thing, and start telling him that let's come on, move out, what will they do? They'll lie on the floor and say no, we won't move until we get the thing. But instead, if we talk to them in a sweet voice, counsel them like a parent does, they might be they can understand our point of view. What parents do, they usually tell them the bad effects of the same, that you can get cavities with the same thing, and they understand the same thing. So I think it's the same behavior. If a drug addict is compared with a kid, we will be able to handle the situation pretty well.
if a drug addict is compared with a kid and he's given such extra time, extra care and counseling, I think he would be able to shine from, they will be able to shine. There are a number of drug addicts who turn to billionaires. We have a history of drug addicts who turn to great people, they made their name shine in the field of science and engineering and other fields respectively. So I believe that it's a person's what I want to say is every person must be given a second chance in life, because it's not me or you, it's God who says that everybody deserves a second chance. That's it. I hope it was understandable and I appreciate everybody's questions. Thank you.
So now comes that moment when I will be announcing the runner-up for the Inter-School Debate Competition 2021, and I am exalted to announce that the runner-up is Harim from Inter-Circle School. I would humbly request the Honorable Principal, June School Srinagar, Mr. Mahfouz Aslam, to present the trophy to the said contestant. Finally, the much-awaited moment has come. We are thrilled to announce that the winner of the Inter-School Debate Competition 2021 is none other than Simra Sikandar from June School Srinagar. I will request the Honorable Principal, June School Srinagar, Worthy Vice Principal, June School Srinagar, and our Honorable Jury, Mr. Gohar Ghilani and Dr. Lilibon, to join us on the stage and felicitate the winner with the June School Trophy Award.
It is a joy to see children back at school after this long lockdown, which has had a psychological impact on the entire society. I really enjoyed my day, to say the least. I firmly believe that teachers never cease to be students. They're all the time learning, unlearning, and relearning. And today, this belief of mine was further strengthened because I got to learn a great deal from these young, energetic minds who participated in the debate. The young people giving their speeches were a delight to watch, were a delight to hear. Their articulation, their choice of precise, accurate and well-structured sentences, their clear and well-structured arguments with concrete examples to drive their point home, their clear understanding of the topic area, their intellectual sophistication, their persuasion and their passion bowled me over. Your amazing performance, boys and girls, ensures me that the valley, which is caught in a political quagmire, I need not explain that, is in safe and able hands. everyone who took part, I must say, has much to be proud of. In fact, the two of us, me and my co-judge, Mr. Gohar Ghilani, had a difficult time to choose the winner. And believe me, all of you are winners. So I conclude my speech, if it is a speech at all, keeping in mind the kind of speeches that we were a part of since morning. If it can be categorized as one, I will conclude by congratulating the school management in organizing such a wonderful, well-run program with such enthusiastic speakers to bring them out in these pandemic crisis situation and show us that they have not lost it, they have gained even while sitting at home. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I think all of you are my heroes and sheroes. All of you are winners. There's no loser. Every one of you is a winner. I'm reminded of a verse by one of my favorite poets, and his name is John Elia. And he says, "मेरे कमरे को सजाने की तमन्ना है तुम्हें, मेरे कमरे को सजाने की तमन्ना है तुम्हें, मेरे कमरे में किताबों के सिवा कुछ भी नहीं." So these questions, about debates, about asking questions. This question was asked by George Orwell, whose original name was Eric Blair. And he asked this question, why I write. There's a famous essay, all of you must, if you have not read it, please do read it. And he answers this question, why I write. There's an author, Nobel Prize winner author, his name is Elie Wiesel, and he wrote a beautiful book on Holocaust. And he also answered this question, why I write. And while answering that question, the author asked, do I write to document the ordeal? Do I write to preserve the memory? Is it a moral responsibility? And moral responsibility has consequences. Am I ready to pay those consequences? So all I'm trying to say in few words is that it's all about listening, it's all about reading, it's all about writing, and it's all about speaking. And all of you, I'm sure, are brilliant speakers, and I was so impressed with the kind of preparation that you had done. And ancient Greeks held that courage may not be a virtue in itself, but with courage you can achieve a lot. And I see all of you are courageous, all of you have the confidence to achieve more in future. And now I will end my word with another verse by Ahmed Faraz, and he says, "Lafz ko phool banana to karishma hai Faraz." It needs a miracle to turn words into flowers and connect to the wider world. Don't remain stuck with examples with your immediate neighborhood. Try to connect to the world, wider world. Read Binokri, read George Orwell, read George Bernard Shaw, read people like Kazi Ishiguro, read other authors who connect to the wider world and write in their own languages, like Orhan Pamuk. He writes in Turkish, but we do read him in English language. Saadat Hasan Mantu, even after 75 years, his writings are very much relevant today. Read Saadat Hasan Mantu. His original language was Punjabi. He had his ancestry traced from Kashmir, but he wrote in Urdu. We read his afsanas in Urdu. So read, read, and read. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.